Rauschenbusch talks about eschatology. You know how people are talking about 666 to the end of the world, all this kind of nonsense. Rauschenbusch also taught me that the second commandment, how are you going to love your neighbor? That's the number one commandment. And the first commandment was just, what you believe about God. But it's the second commandment. Is my neighbor the people next door? Or is my neighbor that person, that lost child in Africa who hasn't had anything to eat? Or in Asia, or any other part of the world, that we are one. That we are one people. They shall expel demons. This is a good one. Derek Prince. And I like the work on the person and the work of the Holy Spirit. I think the Baptist churches don't put enough emphasis on the Holy Spirit. The Pentecostal churches do. They didn't, when Martin Luther King in the 60s was marching for civil rights, there are a lot of people who were just, again, into survival theology. So a lot of the Pentecostal movement grew underground in the 1960s, and they put a lot of emphasis on the Holy Spirit. And I'm just fascinated by the work, the power and the work of the Holy Spirit. This is the Masonic, the initiation into Masonic order. I get a lot of my students who talk about the Masonic and the Masonic and Masons and all that kind of stuff. And I laugh at them when I try to tell them, I said, look, this stuff is so old. This stuff is so old, scholars don't even know. Look at this. This is how and we know that the structure of language came out of Africa. We know that. Sheikh Anta Diop is going to show you that right here in his book. He's going to show you the structure of language. These symbols in Africa was so big that if I didn't like your guy,
hold the book up, Carl, so open it up right there, and then let me zoom in on show them the text on it, the language.
Yeah, Africa was so big.
The whole book like that.
Well, a third of the book is like this. Yeah. First, they have comments in English, so you're not gonna get lost. They have comments in English, and then
the translation.
But listen, these were funeral texts. When they learn how to mummify the body, that's where religion began. And so you die, they put you in a sarcophagus, all right, a wooden box. And they would put symbols in there, alluding to the legend of Osiris. And first they would just put the symbol. This stuff is so old, who knows? Who knows what they really meant? And in Africa, there was so much land. If I didn't like your God, guess what? I just went over here and I just started my own religion. Okay? But there's still the oneness of God. And so a lot of people, they talk about polytheism. Oh, Moses brought monotheism. Moses didn't bring nothing. Africans were practicing monotheism before Moses was born. And then we have a whole bunch of Akhenaten. He started preaching that years before Moses was even thought of. Before Moses' mama, grandmama, and all the rest of them. Okay, so we need to stop that miscarriage, that false description of African thought. And this stuff is so old that even the scholars disagree on it. But it has enough permanency and credibility to suggest that there were two ideas that undergirded this religion. One was the immortality of the soul. They believed in the immortality of the soul. And the second thing they believed in was the resurrection of the dead. That there would be a personal judgment of your life. This judgment. That's what the African religion and all of this attests to that drama, to that drama of recreation with Isis and Horus and stuff. And at the beginning of it, but you got to read some of these commentaries. You got to read it. It ain't hard to read, and read down here. Stuff is hard work. This stuff is a lot of research, but it's on the flow.